Now it's my sincere honor and my privilege to present our speaker for the hour. Arvy Dupuy is the Executive Director for Scope 310. It's a nonprofit organization over in the Shoals area whose mission it is to serve individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Additionally, he's an adjunct instructor for Heritage Christian University over in Florence, where he utilizes his first-hand experience in teaching vocational ministry and missions. He holds both a Master in Arts and Leadership from Southern Christian University and a Master of Science in Theology from Sandridge University. And his Bachelor of Science in Business Administration was acquired right here at Athens State back in 1987. He and his wife Debbie are the parents of two adult daughters, Jenna and Anna. And Arvy and his wife are members of Florence Boulevard Church of Christ, which happens to be my home congregation. So without further ado, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce my good friend, Arvy Dupuy.
Be careful what you say, especially when you use the word never. I remember it like it was yesterday. It happened right out here. It was 30 years ago. Even Townsend and I were walking across campus, headed back to Saunders Hall to our dorm room. Somebody came up to us and said, "Hey, are you going in the student union? Someone's speaking. They brought an alumni back to speak. He made a fortune in penny stocks." And we said, "Nah, we're not going there to listen to that." We walked on, and in a minute, one of us looked at the other and said, "You know, when we leave this place, they will never, ever invite either one of us to come back." 30 years, here I am. I'm as shocked as you are that I'm here, Mary, I'll tell you. But I appreciate the invitation. It's good to be with you. I love my time at Athens State. I was here for 2 years, and was not only did I live on campus, but was a part of, enrolled in school, was part of the basketball program. Worked as a manager and trainer there. And so my life was immersed here on campus. And I loved every minute of it. It was great. And I have so many fond memories, and I know time doesn't allow to ruin this. I have to mention a couple of people. Coach Merle. Does anybody remember Coach Merle? I love that man. Now, if he didn't like you, you've had problems. And every story you've ever heard about Coach Merle is true, isn't it, Barry? And some, probably. But he was good to me. He liked me, and we had a great relationship. And just a wonderful individual that had a lot of impact on a lot of people. I remember Dr. Bartlett before he was president here. I had him for business law for 2 classes. We loved taking him for business law. He was a good teacher, but at that time he told us that he was on the governor's legal team. And the governor seemed to have a lot of legal problems because it was like almost every other class, he or someone he sent would come in and say, "Dr. Bartlett has been called to Montgomery on urgent legal business. There will be no class today." So it was great. But we did learn a lot. We did. We learned a lot in there, so it was good. I wrote Mom Anderson. Does anybody remember her? Yep. She was a dorm mother here for 4 decades. Our group got here, and 3 months into our group being here, she announced her retirement. So I don't know what that says about us, but anyway. And so many more good people. Really, that's the legacy of Athens State. It's not the amazing campus. It's not the historic buildings. It's not the great ghost stories that are forever embedded in my mind. It's the people. The countless number of students that have come on this campus and that have been taken, as your president said, from where they were to where they needed to be. And so the legacy of this school is all the people, not who just came here as students, but the people who helped them on that journey, who poured into their lives so that they could live lives that were impactful in small ways and big ways all around the world. It's been said that there are 3 levels of living: survival, success, and significance. None of us in this room live on the level of survival. There are people all around the world who do. And what they're worried about today is, will they eat today? Will they have access to clean water? One of the things that we've been fortunate to be able to do in ministry, my family and some of extended families, to travel the world doing mission work. And right now, we're working in Haiti. We've been down there a number of years. And that place has become like a second home to me. We make about 3 trips a year. Just love the people down there, have great friends. To me, the folks in Haiti are living by survival. It's a place where it's 70% unemployment. The folks that do have jobs, most of them make less than $2 a day. It's a place where 50% of the land is owned by less than 1% of the population. Highest percentage of orphans in the Western Hemisphere. Poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. It's a place where less than 10% of the children even go to high school. And only about 3% ever make it to a place like Athens State. It's a place where 80% of college graduates, once they get their diplomas, leave Haiti and never come back with the support of their family because there's nothing there for them. And Haiti is just one country of many places around the world where people live at survival level. You and I, we don't understand that. The second level is success. Second option, you might say. And success is about options. It's about having choices. You and I had a choice this morning of what to put on, what to wear. Some of you chose poorly with your Auburn shirts. That's okay. At least there's no Tennessee fans in the bunch. Sorry, I saw you over there. We have choices. When we go home tonight, we'll have a choice about what we're going to eat. So we live, most everyone in North America lives in a success level. But here's the problem. Survey after survey says that people are not happy. There's something missing. We're longing for more. There's a void in our life. And it's because we all long for significance. So why don't we just live that way? It's because we believe the lie that there's a great chasm between success and significance. That we've got to change everything in our lives to make that step. That's not really true. It's the small things, it's little things that can make such a big difference. I don't play golf. Years ago, I had a doctor tell me, you're having blood pressure problems, you need to take up golf. Now, if you play golf, you know the only thing about playing golf is that if you're bad, like terrible, like I was, it does not help your blood pressure. I was trying to play golf, I was awful. I go back to the doctor, and the doctor says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm playing golf. You told me to play golf. I'm playing golf." He said, "Stop it. Don't do that." So I don't play golf. But my friends that do tell me that the great golf coaches, when they're working on someone's swing, they don't make them change everything at once. They start with one thing. And they tweak it just a little bit, just a small adjustment here, just a minor change there. And it makes all the difference in the world. See, there's something that I want you to understand today. And that is that really you are already living at the level of significance, whether you realize it or not, because of the work that you do. Don't worry about being of value where you aren't. Be of value where you are. And where you are is important. It matters. How is it that students can come here and get a great education and get the support that they need and go out and do so many amazing things? It's because of all of you. Because you do those little things every day that really help other people live lives of significance. And that makes your life significant. Makes it matter. Makes it important. I'm not somebody who made a lot of money on penny stocks. I'm not Gary Reedus. I hope you know who Gary Reedus is, do you? Okay, right. Our most famous alumni. Yes. I'm just an ordinary guy. And I represent the thousands of students who have come here and will in the future come here, who don't go out and do extraordinary things that masses of people recognize, but who do small things in significant ways to the group of people that we influence. Steve mentioned my work. I have the honor and pleasure of working with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And you know, I'm nobody to anybody, but I'm somebody to those individuals. And when they see me, I matter to them. And you're a part of that. Because you helped me get from where I was to where I am today. And that story is duplicated over and over and over again, thousands of times. I know students can be frustrated. I get a taste of it with my adjunct work. I know. Sometimes you just want to kill them, don't you? But hang in there. Do the little things because it really does make a big difference. Who knows what small things become great things when they're done the right way. Anybody in here ever heard of North Platte, Nebraska? North Platte, Nebraska is a little bitty town. Not much of anything today, a few thousand people. It's a railroad town. It has been for a long time. Not so much anymore. But decades ago, if you were traveling by train from East Coast to West Coast, you went through North Platte, Nebraska. If you were traveling west to east, you went through North Platte, Nebraska. Just the way it was. Christmas Day, December 25th, 1941. Now think for a minute. What had taken place earlier in that month, 1941? Pearl Harbor. So it's Christmas Day. We're at war. Word spreads through some of the women in town that there's a troop train coming through at 2 o'clock with Nebraska boys. The women talk and they decide that they've got some extra cakes and cookies and pies from their cooking for Christmas, and they're going to go down and meet that troop train. Give those boys a little taste of homemade food before they ship out. After all, they're going away to war, and who knows if they'll come back home. They go down, they take their homemade goodies, they meet the train. Train stops, they get up on the train, and they look around, and it's not Nebraska boys. It's Kansas boys. And one of the women said, I didn't interrupt my Christmas day to give cookies and pies to a bunch of Kansas boys. Well, what do we do? The women didn't know what to do. One lady said, well, I'm not taking my cookies home, and she decides to start handing hers out. The rest do the same. They give them all out. They get off the train is pulling off, and those young servicemen are eating those cookies and cakes, and they're smiling and waving, and the women are standing there at the edge of the train track, and they said, man, that's a good feeling. Yeah, that was great. You know, we ought to do that again. Station master overheard the conversation. He said, there's another one coming through tomorrow about 11. The ladies looked at each other and said, let's meet. And they did. They met every troop train that came through North Platte, Nebraska from December the 25th, 1941 to April the 1st, 1946. 6 million servicemen and women came through North Platte, Nebraska. And because of those women and the extended network that they brought together, every one that came through there was met with people. A homemade cake, piece of pie, a cookie. Maybe to sew on a button or to write a letter back home to a loved one. Maybe a quick haircut. Just somebody to listen to a young soldier who's scared and doesn't know where he's going. It's a good story, isn't it? Retired general told that story several years ago at a conference. He spoke on Friday night, told the story on Friday night. He came back on Saturday morning to finish the conference, and a young girl, ran up to him, college age. She said, General, you remember that story that you told last night about North Platte, Nebraska? And he said, yeah. She said, well, my grandfather has Alzheimer's. He has good days and he has bad days, and we're always looking for ways to connect with him. It seems that things from the distant past register more with him. And when you told that story, he served in the Pacific Theater, and I knew I just had to try. So I went home last night and I called him. He was having a good day. He recognized my voice. I said, Grandpa, have you ever heard of North Platte, Nebraska? He said, oh yeah. Went through there twice. Coming and going. Then he got quiet. He said, honey, I can't tell you the number of times that we'd be pinned down in a foxhole. Maybe the sun had gone down and fighting had stopped. We were waiting for the sun to come back up the next day and for some of us to die. And in the stillness of the night, someone would say, man, what I wouldn't give to be in North Platte, Nebraska right now. It's a good story. There's more. I've told that story a number of times, in a number of places. Last year, my wife and I were just south of St. Louis. She spoke on Saturday, I spoke on Sunday. As the event was wrapping up, it kind of sprung on me at the last minute. Now, you need to do something to kind of wrap up for the day. I thought, okay, I'll tell the North Platte, Nebraska story. As I was telling the story, there was a gentleman sitting in the back. I met him early in the day. He was Quincy was his name, a retired colonel, World War II veteran. He'd served in the Pacific. And I saw the tears begin to come down his eyes. And so I took a chance. I said, Quincy, you ever heard of North Platte, Nebraska? He said, yeah. Went through there twice, coming and going. And I'll never forget what he said next. He said, the cookies were lemon, and I can still taste them today. Think about that. 6 million servicemen and women got a little taste of home. A young girl was able to connect with her grandfather, whose mind was beginning to leave him. And a man almost 90 could still taste those cookies. Why? All because one lady said, I'm not taking my cookies home. Now hold your hand out like this. It's all right. I'm not going to do anything bad, so you hold your hand. You know what you have in your hand? You got cookies. And every day, people are going to come to you, and you've got to decide what you're going to do. I urge you, don't take your cookies home. Live a life of significance and help others achieve their dreams. God bless you. Thank you for having me.